Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA. So you move out on what day?
July 29th. I asked him to break the lease.
Okay, yeah, but just ask him to break the leases. That doesn't mean he can.
This is the plaintiff, Devontae Collins. He says the defendant, his mother, illegally signed his name to a lease on an apartment she was living in and still owes rent. Now, he's on the hook for late fees, back rent, and cleaning fees. And he's suing his dear old mother for $5,000 because what she did isn't right, and she owes him. This is the defendant, Emerald James Reed. She says she and her son shared the apartment and she's outraged he's taking her to court today. She's been his mother her whole life, and this is no way for her to be treated. Bottom line, she owes her ungrateful, stubborn son nothing but a lesson on respect, and she feels the judge is going to agree. She's accused of souring on a son.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Devontae Collins,
Yes,
you are
Judge.
suing your mother, Emerald James Reed, for $5,000. You say you're actually out more than that for unpaid rent and a bedroom set and a cleaning fee. Tell me what happened.
Back in 2013, around September, close to October, I allowed my parents to come stay with me. They was going through tough times. I paid half the rent because I was back and forth in between New York and Jersey. In February, the lease was due. The plan was for them to save up.
Where's the apartment?
In Jersey.
In Jersey, okay.
Yeah, the plan was for them to save up.
Wait, how long? And so it's your mother and your stepfather?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then the lease would have been up in February of 2015?
Yes, ma'am.
Were they helping with the rent?
They was paying $500, yes.
And your entire rent was $1,000?
$1,000.
So they would pay $500 and you would pay $500?
Yes, but I was no longer staying there.
Okay, so when the lease was up, what was the deal?
The deal was that when they came in November, they would stay for 3 months, and I told them before they came that I wasn't going to re-sign the lease or co-sign for them. They would save up to find their own apartment. They was going through tough times. My bedroom set that was in there, that's the only piece of furniture that I had in there. I said that they could borrow it until they have their own. They came with just themselves and their clothes. They didn't have any furniture. So the deal was that they would take the bedroom set until they had their own bedroom set, and they'll give it back. At the time, I went to go move my girlfriend.
Okay, and then what goes wrong?
February came. I've received a notice saying that it was due for me to renew the lease. We spoke with them. They said that they was leaving, that they wasn't going to sign the lease, and they had the keys and everything because I wasn't there. I haven't really had contact. I was back and forth between work. I received a letter in May that I was due for court for unpaid rent.
Where did you think your parents were between February and May?
We was really out of touch.
For all those months you were out of touch?
Yes.
For 4 months you are completely out? You don't know that they're living there?
We didn't talk on a normal basis. They actually told my sister that they went to a shelter. There was a lot of family issues going on.
Is your sister here?
No, my sister's not here. She's at work.
So they stay and they don't pay rent?
They was paying the rent, but they was paying it late, and I received a notice thing. I had to go to court because they was trying to evict me. The lease was in my name. They re-signed my name, forked my signature.
Did you sign? Did you re-sign your name?
No, I didn't.
Did you give them authority to re-sign your name? How did you end up renewing the lease?
My son agreed for
Yeah,
me
I
to
know that's
renew
what
the
happened. I
lease.
got to be honest with you. That doesn't
Yes.
excuse what happens next.
Right.
But I know you agreed because there's no way that you don't say, all right, it's February, they're out. I'm assuming what? What? I'm assuming I'm going to just close my eyes and assume everything works fine. What? Is there something wrong with that plan? You know?
Okay.
You would have contacted you would have known that they were out. You would have, if you're really responsible, you would go by the apartment, okay, and you would see that it was clean. Then you would talk to the landlord. You would want your security deposit. None of that happened because you knew they weren't out. You gave them permission to go on. You probably told them to go ahead and put your signature on it. Now, you're supposed to pay. What happened?
Okay. Once my son contacted me in the very beginning, he fell behind in his rent from September to November. He called me and my husband, and I have the text message stating that he didn't want to stay there no longer. He was going to give up the apartment and either put the bedroom set in storage or throw it out. It was hard for him to maintain the apartment for $1,000 and travel back and forth from Jersey to New York. The tolls, it was a lot for him. So my husband stated, let's go and help my son out.
Wait, how are you helping? Like, why are you in a position to be, like, where was your apartment? What were you doing that
Like
this wasn't also helping you out?
Right. Like he said, me and my husband, we fell on hard times and I lost my income.
So it was going to help you out too because you were only going to pay $500. Yeah,
right.
okay. So you move in, and then when February comes around, he is free of this obligation.
What happened?
So when you take over in February, you're supposed to pay the full $1,000.
And I did.
Okay. So you pay February. When did you first not pay it?
Okay, the first 3 months, he said, since the lease is up in 3 months, Ma, we'll pay $500 each. The first 2 months, he paid the $500, and he was okay with that. So he spoke to my mother, and my mother said, you're not living here, don't pay. So the last month, he did not pay.
Your mother? Okay.
Yes, my mother,
Okay.
his grandmother. You don't live there, you know, so you don't have to pay. Let them pay the whole $1,000 the last month. So that was February. I ended up paying $1,000.
Okay, hold on one second. Is it when was the lease over? On January 31st or on February 28th?
The lease was over February 28th, 2015.
Okay, did you or did you not pay the $500 for February?
I didn't pay the $500.
Okay, got it. Now, what is the first month that you did not pay?
The first month I did not pay was July 29th.
Were you
when I left.
behind in May?
I was behind.
Okay,
$100.
so that's how he gets a letter.
Right.
All right, so, but you end up paying May.
Yes.
You end up paying June.
Yes.
But you don't pay July.
No.
Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then in July, you communicate with your son, you say, we just can't hack it, we got to move out of here.
Right.
All right,
I
so
actually-
you move out on what day?
July 29th, I asked him to break the lease.
Okay, yeah, but ask him to break the leases. That doesn't mean he can.
Right.
You went to see the landlord, and what did the landlord negotiate with you?
I have to pay $1,000 for July, $500 to break the lease, and pay the rent until the apartment is re-rented.
You have paid July, August, and September, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
May I see the proof that you paid those 3 months? The landlord also made you pay a cleaning fee?
$100. Yes.
May I see the proof that you paid that?
Well, she said
And
that-
what's going on with the bedroom set?
She has my bedroom set.
Why?
I have the bedroom set because I really didn't know if he had anyone to move it out when we left. And then my son became very disrespectful to me, texting me horrible messages.
I
You
read
can
the
have
text.
them.
You have other texts that I should see? Because the messages I saw were, why are you ruining my credit? Which is a very legitimate
what you
question. Yeah.
Yes, I have several messages for you if you would like to see.
I mean, you understand that you're ruining the guy's credit, costing him $1,000. That's your son.
That is my
Why is this
son.
happening? Why aren't you trying to help out and solve this problem? Other than texting him, I'm your mother, we shouldn't let this come between us. Well, yeah, but what are you guys, you two, come on up.
Yeah, she
Why are
could
you
talk
sitting?
to my husband.
You know what, why are you two not coming up with something to help him with the rent for the place that you agreed you'd pay for and then didn't?
Because my son disrespected me.
Oh, come on.
And there's no reason to talk to your mother like that.
Oh, come on.
Okay,
we had an agreement.
What pennies have you paid since? No, I am talking to him. What pennies have you paid since July?
Since July, when he broke the lease, we told him, listen, whatever
When
you
he
got to
broke
pay,
the- okay, yeah.
whatever you got to pay or whatever it is, that's our bill. We're going to take care
It
of
is your bill, but what have you done to pay it? You haven't, and that's going to ruin his credit. So
we
he
had
has
no
to pay it.
contact with him.
I'm saying,
But you don't have
yeah.
contact because you say he disrespected you. Seriously, you don't need to have contact to abide by your obligation, moral and legal, to pay. You could just send him a check.
Right, exactly. And we told we would take care of that.
Have you?
No, we haven't. Because
Right, okay, so what good does your flapping gums do him? He can't deposit your words, your thought clouds and speech clouds.
He agreed with his mother. He took a loan. Like I said, they talked. They took a loan. I said, basically, if he takes the loan to break the lease, then we would repay the loan back. So we was trying to come up with an agreement with him on how we could repay the loan back.
Yeah, and in the meantime, while you can't come up with an agreement because she's standing on ceremony with her own son, you couldn't just start sending money?
They could not talk. We couldn't even get to that point because it became disrespectful.
So why didn't you get involved?
Well, I did get involved. He cursed me out. He got very erratic. He didn't want to like basically talk with us. Like he got upset and he started going off.
How long have you been stepdad?
I raised him since he was 9 months.
Okay, all right. So you're like, does he consider you dad, or
Yes.
is there a dad in the picture?
His dad considered me his dad.
Okay.
But he cursed his dad out too because his dad didn't do something that he didn't like, that he liked.
All right. So
this is what
let me ask you a question. What did you do with the bedroom set?
I had the bedroom set.
Okay.
But he can have the bedroom set.
Right, that was no issue.
He can have the bedroom set.
Last minute. He was being spiteful because first of all, he basically told like in the text he said, look, I'm gonna throw this away. An apartment he was getting ready to lose. He texted me, and I felt, I'm like, he's young, he's trying to do the right thing. I'm like, we're not gonna let him lose the apartment. And in return, it did help us.
I hear what you're saying, but it benefited you too. And everything was fine if y'all would have just found some other place to live in February. Then, as it turns out, what you did was you assume, I don't know why you would allow, is this rent controlled? No. So why wouldn't you just make them take that lease in their own name in February?
They don't have any credit.
Then they don't get that apartment. So how are you helping your son by overextending yourself in a place that clearly you ended up not being able to afford and that now is costing him $1,000? You may have had good intentions, but look at what the position you've put him in now. And did you curse your parents out?
The conversation
You shouldn't curse anybody out who owes you money. Let's just start with that because it's not smart.
The conversation has got heated, but it's multiple attempts of trying to come to a solution. My sister has spoken to them, my grandmother has spoken to them, and it's the same thing over. It's
exactly what you've ended up doing, what you claim you didn't want to do. He's young, we don't want to set him back. His own parents ended up setting him back. Have you all had a good relationship in the past in your life, or has this been tumultuous before?
We've always had a good relationship. I was always close to her, but she's ruined relationships with everybody else. That I was the last resort to try. I tried, and this is what happens.
I ruined relationships because I lost my city job years ago. And when that happened, I lost my income. So I could not provide for my children. But I did the best that I could. And they know this. I have 4 children. He's my second to oldest child. This boy I have never said no to, ever. That's my problem. When he approached me to help him, I didn't want no part of it really because I said no.
You should have stayed out.
I was going to stay out of it.
And no one dies because they have to break a lease,
My husband
that's part of growing up.
He felt obligated. We were staying with other relatives. So my other relatives said, no, don't go. Because when my son initially went, he knew we really didn't have a place at that time, but we was getting on our feet.
Where everything went wrong is when you re-upped and then you didn't re-up in your own name. If you can't re-up there in your own name, then you know why? Because someone's predicting that exactly what happened is going to happen.
Yeah, that's why I predicted it before I came.
Well, then don't take a lease in your son's name. You may have had all the good intentions, but look at what happened. Look at what happened.
Yes. And then my mother doesn't make it any better because she
tells her how it is.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't tell
Your mother
him.
what?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Would you ever sue your mother if she stiffed you on a loan, just disrespected you?
No.
You would never sue her?
No. She birthed me. I can't sue her.
Okay, but then she could take advantage of you if you would never sue her.
But she wouldn't.
But what if she would?
No, my mom wouldn't do that.
Would you?
Absolutely not.
What if it was for $1,000?
I would just
$10,000.
give it to her.
$100,000.
Give it to her.
I think I would.
All of your money.
She can have it.
Wow. God, I thought I was going to win that one. Going inside the courtroom.
My mother doesn't make it any better. Sometimes my mother, she doesn't say, well, give them a chance to pay. We'll see if they're going to pay. Or
She doesn't have to make it better. You have to make it better.
I guess so.
It's your own kid. All right, listen to me. What you are entitled to is, number one, we're going to make arrangements when you walk out for you to pick up the bedroom set. Okay, with
I
Officer
actually
Mackin.
don't want the bedroom set anymore.
Then don't have it. You can pick it. I'm not going to award you $1,700 for it. You can pick up the used bedroom set, which that's what you're suing for. Is you want it back. She doesn't have they don't have a right to keep it. You're right. Get it back. If you don't want to pick it up, that's up to you. But you don't get to cash it out because of that. All right. As for the cleaning fee, did you show me proof of the cleaning fee?
I don't have any. No, I don't have any proof.
Do you know that there's a $100 cleaning fee?
Between 90 and 100.
Okay, so you do know that there's a cleaning fee, so that's not really in dispute. All right, so then there's $3,100 that he is out as a result of this lease fiasco. I am going to award the plaintiff what I believe he is out, which is at $3,100. Guys, this is really sad.
Yeah.
I mean, you're legally correct. I don't blame you for coming in here. I don't know if they blame you, but you still only have. This is it. These are the people who raised you. This is all you got. And at some point.
All I have is my grandmother and my 2 kids.
No, that's not true.
That's it.
That's not true. That's not true. And you have 2 kids?
I got 2 kids, yes.
If you have 2 kids, were they grandparents to your 2 kids?
They haven't met my second son, and they barely know my first son.
He has another one on the way, too. My son is just all over
And we
the place.
And I also work for the city, and I also have a degree.
What do you mean? No, wait. What were you just saying?
We take care of his grandchildren.
No, they don't.
We spend time with them. We have them
financially or spend time with them?
financially and time with them too.
He just doesn't know it?
My
No, he
grandson,
knows it.
my grandson doesn't even know his grandmother.
Dante doesn't know her.
Wait a minute. He makes the relationship so complicated with the children's mother that it was so complicated for me to be involved. Like, they're always arguing.
No,
They're
he gets
always
mad at
on the
you.
internet. He gets mad at me and say I'm not loyal to him if I talk to the children's mother. What do I do? You
I
know?
don't know.
What do I do?
I don't know.
I don't know neither.
Right? Good luck.
Yes.
Good luck.
Yes.
It would be very sad to see the grandkid not have.
And I will
an
see my
extra set.
grandkids.
Yeah.
I will.
It's been said before.
Good luck, folks. Good luck. Good
Okay,
luck.
thank you.
It's always very sad to see a case in this courtroom with family of any kind, much less a son and a mother.
Yes, it is. Because I've been a great mother to my children, I believe. I've never told them no. That's a problem.
Is this family reparable? I mean, you want it to be fixed?
I mean, it's reparable. That's like I said, I've raised him since he was 9 months. We want the best for him. I mean, he's doing the right thing, and you know what I'm saying. We just want to, try to, keep the relationship, how it was.
How hard are you willing to fight to fix this thing?
I mean, look, that's her
my son.
That's the oldest son.
That's
so,
my son.
You
my
love him,
first
right?
Son. Yes, I love my son.
He knows that.
Yes, he knows that. But yes, he knows that. He should know that.
All right. Okay. Head right around the corner with Officer McIntosh, right this way. All right, so come on in there. There they go,
Yes, sir.
Good. There they go. That's your mom right there.
Yeah, that's my mother, but I have to deal with her from a distance. I can't. She's done this multiple times to multiple family members, and although money is the issue here, it's more about principle.
You sure you're not cutting off your nose to spite your face? Okay.
No,
so maybe you win, but are you going to lose in the long run?
It's nothing that I'm really losing. I've been taking care of myself since I was 17
Don't you
years
want them as grandparents to your kids?
They had 6 years to do that. They haven't done it yet.
Are you willing to open the door for them?
No.
Sure?
Positive.
All right. Harvey?
I gotta say, Kurt, this one feels like an impossible situation. Hopefully they can work this out in some fashion just for the sake of the grandchildren. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
This is the plaintiff, John Clark. He says he and the defendant were in a band called Stiff Kitty. He played the keyboards, and the defendant was the lead singer. They played a gig one night. The defendant collected the money and is stiffing him on his share, and that's just not fair. The judge needs to teach the defendant a lesson. He's suing for the $100 he's owed and expects to get a judgment in his favor today. This is the defendant, Chad Nichols II. He says the plaintiff unceremoniously quit the band and also canceled a gig they had, an Oktoberfest celebration. Since he abruptly canceled that show, not only doesn't he owe the plaintiff the $100, the guy owes him and the rest of the band because he acted like a spoiled child. He's accused of letting the music fade. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $700, the money lost on the canceled Oktoberfest.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. These litigants were in a band called Stiff Kitty, and true to form, the plaintiff says the defendant stiffed him. But the defendant says the plaintiff quit the band and screwed the band over. It's the case of stiffing the kitty.
Thank you, Douglas. John Clark, you are suing Chad Nichols for $100 that you say he owes you for a gig that you did and he hasn't paid you. You're counterclaiming $700 for a gig that he canceled on you. Okay. You folks were in a band?
Yes. We
What
were
kind
in a
of band?
five-piece band, a rock band. We covered 80s tunes. We played bars, special events, festivals, that sort
How
of
long, what's the name of the band?
Stiff Kitty.
Indeed. Okay, Stiff Kitty. All right, and how long were you in the band?
About 4 years.
Is that the inception of Stiff Kitty, or no, it was there before
No,
you?
I don't believe any of us were original members. We've all come along later.
Okay, so how long has Stiff Kitty been around?
Probably about 6 years or so.
All right, so what was your role in the band?
A keyboard player and background singer.
And what is your role in the band?
Lead vocalist.
Is there a band manager?
No, that's me.
Is that accurate?
I wouldn't say he's a manager.
Who would schedule gigs?
He would schedule most of them. I would schedule some. If someone came up with an idea for a gig, we all pitched in. There was really no leader, no manager.
Like what percentage did you schedule? What percentage did he schedule?
Oh, I would say 90%, 10%. I didn't do very many at all.
So 90% of the time, he's the guy getting the gigs. Yes. All right. So now, talk to me. What happened that you were owed $100?
On Saturday, August 8th, we were scheduled to perform a gig at a club in town, a nightclub. The five of us were to receive $500 at the end of that gig. Chad went to the bartender or bar manager to get our pay. He came back and said they didn't have a full $500 in cash. Instead, they had to give us cash in a check for the balance. He asked me if I would be willing to wait about receiving my $100 payment so that
until
he could
the check
pay,
cleared?
Yes, was able to pay me. In the meantime, he would be able to give cash to the others.
Okay.
I said, that's fine.
How many people were in the band?
5.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the next day, I gave Chad a call about some serious band matters that I'm sure we'll get into in a minute. And at the end of that conversation, I thought, well, I should have just asked him to mail me that check. So he continued the conversation that we had on the phone by text. So I texted Chad and I said, Chad, would you mind sending me that check? He said yes. 2.5 weeks later, I had not heard from Chad, called him, left a voicemail message. He didn't respond. I sent him a text message and I said, Chad, can I assume that my $100 is in the mail? He said right back, no, you cannot assume that. And basically you won't be getting that money.
And why was that?
He gave 2 reasons. The first reason was that I had canceled an upcoming gig.
Had you?
Yes, I had. An Oktoberfest gig. Then
okay,
he said,
and why had you canceled it?
The band had been going through some difficult times. We were not very good, quite honestly. We had a lot of turnover. We had a fill-in drummer, a brand new guitarist, a bass player who was relatively new and not up to speed, and I just didn't feel that we were going to be able to give the performance we needed to. So I canceled.
Did you quit the band and you skipped that part?
I did quit the band. I was telling
when
you
did you quit the band?
I quit the band that Sunday. I'd been giving this some serious thought.
So you quit the band the day after the gig that we're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, so that's the band matters that you were telling me? You said, I quit, and then after you quit, you canceled a performance of the band you were no longer a member of.
No, I actually canceled the gig before I quit.
Speaking for the band, You canceled the gig when you were quitting that day.
Speaking for myself, the entertainment director for the Oktoberfest was a personal friend of mine. Quite honestly, we didn't get the gig because of our talent. We got it because I was a friend of the entertainment director. Chad could have gone to the entertainment director himself and said, John did this on his own. He never did that, as far as I know. And like I said...
So let me talk to you, Chad.
Yes.
What's going on?
Well, basically, a lot of that the same. But the next, in the morning he called. He's like, Chad, I got to talk to you. He's like, I've decided to leave the band. And by the way, I'll cancel the Oktoberfest gig.
And then you said to him...
I said, you can't do that. I mean, that's a band decision. That's something that we have to speak of. Everybody has to come to an agreement. That's not like that.
Did you have a signed contract?
Yes.
Oh, you had a signed contract for Oktoberfest?
Yes.
May I see it?
I don't have it.
Who has it?
He has it.
Can I see it?
Yes, of course.
So tell me about how was this money supposed to be? It's $700 in this contract. How is this money supposed to be distributed?
That would have been distributed equally as well among the 5 members for about, $140 apiece.
Okay. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
Your Honor, so I don't understand why the countersuit is for $700. He would have been receiving no more than $140 if we had played the gig.
Because and I have statements from the other band members. I plan on paying them. If this goes my way, I'm going to pay them their fee for that.
Let me see the statements.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've got to bring in Stiff Kitty to the lawsuit. Because otherwise, Stiff Kitty could go out and sue you. Don't you want to get everything resolved today, right, and never have anything to do with this anymore?
Your Honor, I have not seen these statements from the other band members.
They just say, I expected to get paid.
Oh, okay.
You want to see them? You can see them. I mean, they just say,
no, I understand.
I want my $140.
So, I'm sorry, what is the question before me?
So the question is just, you raise a very good legal point. You say, why would he have a right to sue for the other guys? Mm-hmm. And in his individual capacity as Chad Nichols, which is the only person you sued and the only person who filed a counterclaim against you, mm-hmm. you would be correct. He would only have a right to sue for his $140. Mm-hmm. But I believe that he should amend the lawsuit to include Stiff Kitty, him on behalf of Stiff Kitty as well, mm-hmm.
because
then all of this gets taken care of here today at People's Court.
Actually, Your Honor, I would prefer to keep it between the defendant and myself.
So why do you think so many bands, even the Beatles, bands have bad breakups?
It's because they sleep with each other.
I don't know about that. Why do you think?
I don't know. I think it's like about a girl or about a guy.
It has been about a girl. It was with the Beatles with Yoko Ono.
It was.
Okay. Anybody else? Any opinions?
They might take credit. Maybe one person.
Oh my God. I think that's the absolute reason. Good job going inside the courtroom.
So here's where we are. The man is owed his $100, but you feel that you don't have to pay it to him because he owes you more than that.
Correct.
Because you feel he had no right to cancel the Oktoberfest gig.
Right. In the past, that's always been a commutative decision to agree on dates and also a commutative decision to cancel them.
Okay.
No.
Yes.
So, don't argue with each other. You guys are missing the point. The point is you can't speak for a band that you plan to quit. You don't have a right to speak for a band that you plan to quit, okay? And so you end up canceling something that you don't have a right to cancel, and then you're suing for your 100. You're entitled to your 100, but that's going to be deducted from the amount that I believe that you owe him. So on your lawsuit against him, yes, $100 for you. And in your lawsuit against him, $140 for you. Net judgment in your favor of $40. Good luck, folks. And I guess these other fellows can go ahead and sue them themselves.
All right, so what do you think of this decision here, this outcome?
Well, I knew I would win my suit against him.
Yeah,
there was no doubt about that. On the other one, I knew it was kind of shaky, but I still felt that I had the authority to cancel a gig just as he and other members had the authority in the past.
Found out otherwise. So are you still in the business of, you still rocking and rolling, or are you moved on?
I'm looking for a band right now.
Mm-hmm. All right, good luck with everything. Head right down this way. Follow Officer McIntosh.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so step on out here, and well, you got a little bit of what you sued for, 140, right?
Yeah.
You satisfied with this?
I am. I mean, at the end of the day, when it's booked for a band, you don't represent the band if you quit. So, and that was my point to him from the get-go.
Stiff Kitty.
Stiff Kitty.
Meaning, what was it? Where'd you get that name from?
Drew it out of a hat. Just somebody came up with it even before I was in the band. It's just a fun name. 80s rock and roll.
All right, and so how often do people ask you if it goes up to, your amps go up to 11?
Pretty much every gig, and selfies and all that good stuff too.
You know what we're referring to there, right?
Absolutely.
Tell them.
Rock and roll.
This is Spinal Tap.
This is Spinal Tap.
Right.
Okay.
You got it? You got it now?
I do.
Harvey?
I got to say, the plaintiff really acted in bad faith here by quitting the band and even canceling a gig as kind of a parting gift. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
These are the plaintiffs, Jacqueline and Aristides Marchena. Jacqueline says she took her new truck in perfect condition to the defendant's car wash. And when it was done being cleaned, she noticed a big white scratch on it. The manager apologized, said he'd fix it for her, and then never spoke to her again. She guesses the defendant doesn't know the type of person she's dealing with because she will not go away quietly and is suing for the $1,800 cost of the damage. This is the defendant, Joyce Patone, owner of the car wash. She says she washed 400 cars that day. No one else's car got scratched. And besides, she only uses soft boar hair materials in the car wash, so a scratch of this type is impossible. She refuses to be blamed for something she didn't do and will not pay the plaintiff a penny. She's accused of being all wet.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says her car got all messed up at the defendant's car wash. But the defendant says the plaintiff's making it up. It's impossible to get a scratch like that. It's the case of you scratch my car, I'll sniff you out.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Jacqueline Marchena and Aristides Marchena, you are suing cross county car wash, represented here by Joyce Patone. You're the owner?
Yes.
Okay, and you are?
Gabriel, manager.
The manager, all right. For $1,800, a cost to repair your truck that you say the car wash destroyed. Tell me what happened.
On April 10th.
Scratched, not destroyed. Even she's not saying destroyed, sorry.
Thank you.
Scratched, go ahead.
On April 10th, we went to the car wash. It was my best friend's wedding, so we were getting ready for the wedding. We took the car to have it cleaned, and we just had a regular wash as the car.
How long had it been since you'd had the car washed?
Maybe a week. I wash every week.
Every single week you take your car to the car wash?
Yeah.
Really?
Every week we wash the car.
There?
No. We
Where?
go to different car washes.
You go to different car washes every single week?
Yeah. So we went. We had gone there before.
Was it crowded or no?
No, it wasn't crowded.
Were there people there besides you?
Yes, there were other cars there.
Okay.
So it was a couple of cars. And I noticed after the full car wash, when they took out the car, I noticed a scratch. And I was like, I passed my finger to see if it was maybe paint or something else. And I noticed it was a scratch there. So I told my husband, listen, there's a scratch here. So the guy that was drying out the car, he told me, go get the manager. So I went inside and I spoke to the manager. He came outside, he saw it.
Is it one of those mechanical car washes where you go through your car goes through that?
Through the brushes and all those things, yes.
Are you in the car when that happens? Or
No.
Okay.
So I explained it to him, listen, the car just came out, they were drying the car, and I noticed the scratch. And
that would be you, right?
Yes.
And what did you tell her?
I told her, ma'am, unfortunately, that did not happen in the car wash.
How do you know it didn't happen in the car wash? You hadn't even looked at anything yet. How do you know it didn't happen there?
Because that day we did over 400-something cars.
How many?
439 cars, and we would have had the same issue with every car that came through there.
Why is it so? I love having litigants who are either, there's two industries. It's the tow truck companies and the car washes that always say, impossible, can't happen, nothing can go wrong. But it can go wrong, something can go wrong. Now, when you're telling me it would happen to every other car, that makes sense. But you're the owner, right? Let me ask you though, isn't it possible something gets loose and just scratches the one car, but it wiggles so it doesn't scratch the car after it?
No, it would be a pattern where it would continually scratch another car. And if that would happen, we would see it. But our equipment is designed purposely not to scratch. And I brought a sample of the material to show you. And if you looked at the scratch, you could see it's a scratch like a key mark. And I have a picture of that.
Let me see your pictures and your pictures of the scratch.
To show you, because that's the material, everything in the car wash. And here's a picture of the scratch. I also have a video that shows how the equipment moves. And the way it moves and swirls, it could not make a continuous scratch.
Okay, so it's right over the wheel well?
Yeah, it's like right up to the light.
And on the bottom, the only equipment is called the baby rockers, which is made out of that fabric. And when you see in the video, it just spins. There's no way possible the softness of that. And it's also designed, if it ever gets caught on something, to tear off. It's so soft. And it's designed not to scratch.
Kind of sturdy. Do you have a video of how the machine works? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and also, I just want to mention that you stated in your letter you were at the Cross County Shopping Mall.
Talk to me, not to her.
Oh, she was at the mall that day in the parking lot. Her car was in a parking lot right before she came to us. And all of a sudden, a lot of times when people get their cars cleaned and they see it for the first time, then they notice scratches from before.
Do you have any parking disputes with anybody? Did you take anybody's parking space that they thought was theirs?
No, we usually park in the parking.
Did you park in two spots? Did you? Is this your husband?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yana, we usually park far away from everybody, and we always check the char before we go in.
Listen, nobody washes their car at a car wash every week, and nobody usually parks a 2000, what is this? 2000 what? 2012 Acura, always away from everybody all the time.
Yana,
I mean, come on.
You'll be surprised, Yana. My wife gets upset at me for every time for faking her walk. I refuse to park with everybody because I don't want that to happen, and we usually check our vehicle before.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean, okay, just like I tell the tow truck companies and the car wash companies anything could happen, don't suggest that nothing could happen. Of course it could happen.
No, Your Honor, we understand
but, you know, go ahead. You had something in your hands you want to show me.
I also have a letter from a gentleman that's been in the business for 18 years.
Who is he to you?
He's our supplier from Simon Eyes, a company we get all our equipment. He's been in the industry in 18 years and said it's impossible also for us to make a scratch like that.
I assume that your equipment is the same on one side as the other.
Yes.
Is this the entire cycle you filmed here?
Yes. The one spinning are the rockers that hit the lower half of the car.
Can a car wash really damage somebody's car these days?
I think it could probably do minor damage, but nothing serious.
What do you think? Yes or no?
I mean, if it doesn't have any brushes, then.
It seems weird, doesn't it, going inside the courtroom?
You said that you had a document from your distributor, was it?
Simon Eyes, yes.
In my professional opinion, with 18 years of car wash experience, the scratch is not car wash related. He goes on. That's not all he says. I've operated some of the busiest car washes in the Northeast. I've been with the leading industry brand, blah, blah, blah. I've seen scratches like these in the past. It's easy to assume the car wash caused it, but here are the reasons that it's not. One, it cleans it in a forward to back motion, so it would be along the whole side of the car. That makes sense, too. This scratch is only on the back passenger side, and the front passenger side is no damage at all. That's not consistent with equipment failure. Two, it's a deep scratch. You can see the white paint through. In a situation with a deep scratch, some heavy force was used. The cloth and the friction can't cause that because it's lubricated and extremely soft. And thirdly, because the vehicles in front and behind would also have the scratches and there was no other report of any other damage. Do you have any evidence of any report of any other damage by other people while you were there? Because you said there were other cars there. So did anybody else say anything?
No.
I just don't think there's enough evidence on your part, and you are the folks with the burden of proving this. Enough evidence on your part that they caused it. Now, part of why they're frustrated is because Supposedly on that day, you were talking to them about what? Getting the paint to match, having a buddy who might be able to,
Well, apparently she was complaining about it. When she said, "Oh, this is gonna cost," I said, "You probably got to get it painted." And I told her because that's a scratch, and they're not gonna just paint that part of the car. You have to paint the whole thing, unfortunately.
Can I just say something? He was just trying to be nice.
Did you make sure he doesn't do that again?
Yes.
Okay.
We talked about it. We talked about this. We can't be too nice because then it makes us look like we have to do something, which we don't feel we did anything wrong.
Right. When you come to court, the plaintiffs are the party with the burden of proving by a preponderance of the evidence that it happened the way your theory is. I'm finding it hard to believe that this happened. Maybe it happened in the parking lot before you got there. Maybe it happened you never saw it before. I don't doubt you never saw it before. I don't doubt that you feel it must have happened here. But I do have a lot of question in my mind whether it happened before you got here and this is just the first place you saw it. My verdict in this case is for the defendants. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so with that, the plaintiffs come out here on the losing end of this decision from Judge Milian. You understand the decision?
Yes.
All right, so what do you think happened to the car now?
I have no idea because our car, we try to keep it tight, nice.
You're hypersensitive about that car, right?
You work hard for your stuff, though, but, the judge ruled we have enough evidence, and that's what we have to go by. I'm not upset.
You're in trouble now because you allowed that car to get messed up, and she's going to blame it on you.
I guess so. I'm going to have to go fix it somehow, right?
You got your work cut out for you. All right, right down this way. All right, so step on in here. Does this happen a lot?
No, not often. Once in a while, but not scratches like this.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen like that deep of a scratch.
Mm-hmm. Do you examine the cars on the way in?
Yes, we do.
So what happened in this case?
Obviously.
We usually do it for mirrors or fenders, something loose, because a lot of times the blowers blow everything off. Like if something's loose.
The scratch is there. You pointed out before it goes into the car wash, right? Harvey?
Okay, if you have any doubt whether a car wash damaged your car, walk around the car and inspect it thoroughly before you leave. Once you drive away, you are screwed.